Story time. This is part one of the craziest things I've heard since being pregnant, and this has to be honestly like the craziest thing. Stay. So a little backstory. I work at a fine dining restaurant, and at this restaurant, I was serving a private party, and in this party, there was a little child, and I'm like asking the girl about her kid. And I'm like, oh, I'm making a baby because that's what I say, since I'm pregnant. And then there's this man that's like, oh, I thought you were just thick. I was like, no, I'm actually 6 months pregnant. And then he says that I'm an OBGYN. Would you like a pap smear? I literally looked at him because he couldn't say it with a straight face. And I said, you couldn't say that with a straight face. And no, I have insurance. I'm good. Like, what stranger in their right mind would ask a pregnant woman to look inside of her vagina to look at another man's baby? A stranger. Welcome back to the Empowered Woman, Badass, and Unfiltered podcast. Your host, Olivia here, aka Coach Liv, and I'm going to talk to you about my pregnancy. Yeah, I've been pregnant. I'm now, as I'm recording this, 28 weeks. And there's been so many things that have happened during this time. Yes, as you've seen, I've still continued to record podcast and that and just do a lot of other things in my life as well. So I'm going to just talk about how my pregnancy's been going, bust some myths about if you can or can't do things while you're pregnant. Because I think I'm in the beginning of my third trimester, and I think that I can easily say that there's things that I know I can do that people would have probably limited me on. So I'm going to also go into why I waited so long and the craziest things I've heard since being pregnant. I've heard directly as people have said these things to me. So just to give you a little overview, I found out that I was pregnant in May. I had my conception date, I think, is April 8th. So yeah, I found out in May that I was pregnant. And listen, when I first found out, my first reaction, I'm really good at acceptance, but I was just like, I need to just go on a walk because we weren't trying. We weren't not trying, but we weren't trying. Now, I just celebrated 7 years of being married to my husband. We own our home. We are in a very good position. So I can't be like, oh no, what am I going to do? I'm very, very fortunate. So I'm not saying that. It's just, if God didn't do it at this time, I don't think I would have found the time. I don't think I would have just put it in my timeline because I kept pushing this thing off, to be honest with you. So I go on this walk, and I call it a walk with God. And I go on this walk, and I'm like, God, this is really how you want to bless me? This really what you want to do? And then I realized that God's been with me in everything in the past, and he's not going to leave me in anything I'm going through. And he's really going to take me through this. And that complete idiots have children, and I'm going to be perfectly fine. And once I realized, once that I had that epiphany of complete idiots have kids and I'm going to be okay. I was just like, all right, whatever. I got this. I'm going to be a mom now. So I found out, and then I went out of town to Austin, Texas, and Charleston, South Carolina, and I'm so grateful. I only got sick once, and that was when I came back home, and I was under a lot of stress. So I don't even really blame that fully on pregnancy, but no morning sickness. It's all, I've been so busy. Now I hate gaining weight. I absolutely hate gaining weight so much. So that's the part that I dislike the most about this. Emotion wise, my emotions haven't been too crazy. I have gone off on my husband a little more than I'd like to. So I'm working on being a kinder, nicer person, really, really leaning on God for everything. I recently took the assistant general manager position at Morton's the Steakhouse. So I'm working at a minimum 48-hour work weeks on top of recording all of season 9. And I'm going to start recording season 10 next month for my podcast, so that'll all be batch recorded. I'm due January 13th I'm hoping to honestly like just get past January 2nd. Like I feel like I'm gonna have a big baby, so I don't really want to like have him late. But hey, when he comes, he comes. But I'm just trying to get to January 2nd. Um, so energy level wise, like oh, that and I have not cut out as much caffeine as I probably should. But I'm just I can't I've been a little thing about me. I've been having caffeine since I was like Red Bull energy drinks since I was 13 years old. Like my friend's dad worked for Red Bull and we would have Red Bull to go to school with. And so with my work schedule, like it's just like I've cut back on caffeine, but I can't do no caffeine whatsoever and then be for the public because I really got to be for the public. I still volunteer with my church. I still have Relentless Glory. I'm a part of this deluxe network program, which is not a huge time commitment, but it is still a time commitment. As far as coaching goes, I'm in such a weird transitional spot right now that I'm just like, and this is me just being real with you, the listener. I'm literally just like seeing where God leads me in these next couple of months. I prayed on this position that I took, I really, really did. And what I'm looking to do in this position is grow my capacity, will increase my capacity for stress, develop my leadership skills more, really network with high net worth individuals. I'm just being honest with you. Because I understand that the time that we're coming upon is I'm not a doomsday person. Let me just make that clear. I'm not a doomsday person, but I'm trying to set myself up to a place where I am not going to be struggling financially in this depression. I don't want to do that. And I'm going to do everything that I can to keep it in my power so I don't. Honestly and morally based, just to make that clear for anybody that does not know me or hasn't really listened to my stuff to really understand that like I'm not going to do something that's like hurting someone else or anything or like immoral or anything or illegal, but yeah, that's where I'm at when it came to that. And speaking of my job, all right, so some of the craziest things I've heard have actually been at my restaurant. So the first thing, let me tell you the story because these people are crazy. So I was serving this like 13 top or something. I was whatever, like, and there was a lady in there that had a kid and it was her birthday. And I was like talking to her about like being a mom. I was like, yeah, I'm making a baby. And they're like, oh, you're pregnant? I thought you were just thick. I'm not. And I'm like, no, I'm 6 months pregnant. And this dude says, oh, well, I'm an OBGYN. Would you like a pap smear? I looked at him and I'm like, you couldn't even say that with a straight face. And said, no, I have insurance. I'm good. And then like I go back into the kitchen and I'm thinking about what he said. I'm like, what in the world? What type of man? Like what type of stranger just asks a pregnant woman if they want to have if they want somebody, a stranger, to look inside their vagina? Like who does that? Like, and why would you want to do that? So yeah, that has to be like the craziest thing I've heard. And then um there's this girl, like this lady that comes in that I feel like she just doesn't like me. I know she doesn't like me. Um and she's thicker. She's a thicker girl. Like she's not fat, but she's thicker and last year is training for a bikini competition. And so like she sees me one night and she's like, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "Oh, well, you've just gained so much weight." I was like, "Well, thank you." You know what I wanted to say to her, but I was in the confines of my restaurant? "Oh, I look just like you now." But I didn't. I'm that petty, but I'm not that petty at work. I know how to act right. I was just like, "Oh, well, thank you." So like those are like two most crazy things, like I've had other people tell me like, just, oh, be careful. Like the reason I waited so long, this gets me into the reason why I don't, everybody got opinions on parenting and what it should be like and how you should do it. And frankly, I didn't ask for anybody's opinion. I don't trust everybody's parenting styles. I really, I've been interviewing people on this show for years. I have also been around parents that I like their parenting style and that I don't like their parenting style. So I'm very mindful on who I take advice from. And I don't know what I don't know. And I know that I'm going to figure it out when the time comes, you know? And that's when I'm just learning more so like that I just have to ask for help. But like having everybody in my business about like this, I just didn't need the extra limitations placed on me, because that's what people will do. They will be like, oh, well, you're pregnant, you shouldn't be doing this. You're pregnant, you should. No, 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 no. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just be honest with you. So I mean, I really like the fact that I've waited this long to announce that I'm pregnant. And I'm just in the home stretch. I will be doing like a full-blown like video of like how I felt like through all the things, and putting that on YouTube and everything, probably a couple months after I have the baby. And like, you know, just how my thoughts and stuff have changed. I'm literally just gonna go with the flow and like take it as it comes. I'm expecting to be exhausted. I'm expecting to like not know what the hell I'm doing. Like I'm just expecting that, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, if you're a mom, let me know when you know, announced. When did you announce? When what were some of the craziest things that you've heard? You know, whatever you want to share, I'd love to hear that. I love to have that conversation. And yeah, with all of that being said, go out and be a badass.